Alright, kids, how the hell is it going? Welcome to a Pathfinder stream. Starting a little bit late this evening because, man, we are all worn out. Yesterday was crazy. So we're just going to jump in. We're going to see what weird crap is going on in the land of Snagshmi and all of Snagshmi's friends. We're going to destabilize the city. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and let's get into it.
He's thinking really hard about it.
No, he's having some mic issues. One sec.
Got it. Because, of course, it isn't a proper run of social distancing and dragons without it starting with a little bit of mic issues.
His mask is muting him. It's too loud of a mask.
One of those experiencing technical difficulty signs. Just keep it on hand.
I have a starting screen that I have, which is just me on fire, swinging around, and it's like my favorite intro screen in the world. I want to get one that's just like whenever there's technical difficulties, it's just me sitting on the ground crying, doing a body burn. Like, that's it. There's the bucket of water next to me, just empty, just like trying to pour it on my head. I think it'd be perfect.
Is this better?
I can hear you.
Is this better? My battery is dying on my headphones.
Yes. You sound amazing.
So what I remember is we were in the process of unleashing rust monsters onto a warehouse that had weapons with a Ravenholm symbol on it, and we were trying to blame the Nooks for fucking up the weapons.
Fantastic. You guys decided to unleash the rust monsters inside of the building and put the Nook crest on top of it to try and send the blame that direction. Tilly, do you have anything you would like to add real quick?
Like ate a dude's face. Snacks me.
That's right, smash me during the trade negotiations to get these critters. Things went sour, and Snagsme ripped off somebody's face for hurting Princess Tinyfeet so badly. By the way, how hurt is Princess Tinyfeet still?
Princess Tinyfeet is at 26 out of 34 health, which is too much damage. 1 point of damage is too much damage for Princess Tinyfeet.
Gotcha.
She's your baby.
She's my baby.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Iron, do you have anything you would like to add?
Fuck. You know, I feel like every week I sit down and I don't remember jack shit about this game. And I'm like, oh yeah! And it's like I'm experiencing it all over again.
That's why we play What
Perfect.
Do We Remember?
Right? It's perfect. God, what do I remember? Yeah.
Or even recent things that your character has been wanting to work on.
I mean, I remember I schooled some dude on basic economic principles of owning a merchant mercantile business. I remember that. I remember we had a big moral quandary about whether or not we should introduce the rust monsters and what that might mean for the city at large, because we found out that place supplied at least some of the guard within the city. The city that contains the dangerous crystal that we brought here, the Mage's Tower, and some other shit that we probably wouldn't gonna get wrecked. So yeah, there's that. I feel like that's about all I remember that seemed important.
Fantastic. Snagshme, do you have anything you would like to add?
Ate somebody's face, which I totally forgot about. And I think the only thing I really remember is after a long talk about how to screw over like the people with all the weapons, we decided to carve the Tom Nook symbols onto the boxes so that it would look like the Tom Nooks had supplied the rust monsters that are possibly going to be eating all of their stuff, because fuck Tom.
Because fuck Tom. Exactly. And Ember, is there any other bits that you remember that are important?
I had a horrible, horrible nightmare, and someone screamed freedom, and I have a horrible, horrible, horrible feeling about it.
Yeah, last night you had another one of those very vivid nightmares as you were sleeping, tossing and turning in your sleep about the reflections inside of it and the 9 reflections arguing and it causing the crystal to crack. And you guys woke up, or you woke up in a cold sweat. So, since it is the beginning of the next day, everybody who were able to get your rest in can heal twice your level, plus your constitution modifier in hit points. If you have any ability score damage, you can heal 1 of the points of ability score damage. And you take time to refresh any spells that you had cast the evening before while out and about. And the morning begins in the bar, the tavern that you are at, that you're staying in, the in and out, and the morning begins, and you guys all head down for your morning breakfast. Sit down at the table. The rest of the party, as you guys all sit down, has kind of arrives in a state of somewhat more disheveled and bleary-eyed than
Panic.
she
The
normally.
word is panic. Taz is
Panic.
panic. Taz is
Taz.
freaking the fuck out right now.
Fantastic. Taz is freaking the fuck out right now.
Guys. I think the crystal is broken. I think he's free. I had a horrible, horrible thing. I have visions now. Yay, just add it to the list. I don't care. We need to go now. Now.
I'm still eating my pancakes.
Don't care. Bad things. Go now. Now.
Emma, hold on, now, calm down now. What is this you're saying about the crystal and somebody breaking out? How do you know this?
I'm priest. I get visions. I don't know. This is a thing. It's a thing. Just, can you not just trust my instincts for once?
Okay, well, this definitely puts a damper on my morning plans, but, I suppose we can go check, at the tower?
Yes, now. Yesterday, now. Please, now, please.
Tell
Okay,
Goblin
then.
think you smart. Yes, let's go.
Cool. So with that, the party ends up finishing their breakfast early, and as you guys are heading out and stepping outside of the in and out, at the same time, Henry bumps into you, arriving at the inn as well, in a little bit of a fluster himself. He looks and he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad that I caught you. I was worried that you would have already been gone for the evening. Is everyone all right? You seem somewhat out of sorts here."
It is our usual day-to-day proceedings, in a very chaotic manner, but this is nothing unusual. I ensure you, I have been with this group some time. This is nothing out of the ordinary.
Oh, I see. Well, if you guys have, a couple minutes to spare, I actually, I'm in a little bit of a need of assistance from the rest. If you are able to sit down for a little while.
Well, we were about to attend to some, potentially important business, but, well, by all means, what kind of friends would we be if we didn't take a moment to listen?
My lord, my lord of wisdom and knowledge, I implore you, while I understand you want to be diplomatic and sit this one in. My dear Henry, be as forthcoming as you can. If this takes longer than 10 seconds for you to explain to us, I will
Spit it out. We got places to be.
Thank you.
Come out in 5 seconds. We're going. If you want to stick around, we'll come back eventually. Okay?
If you want to come with us, we are on our way to the tower to check on something very important to the city. If you take longer than 10-15 seconds for you to explain this,
Yeah, just so you guys
Oogie,
remember,
give me a
Henry.
fucking second.
Taz is
I-
already like standing outside tapping her foot. She's not even gonna listen. She's standing outside. Like
And
someone
just
gave
so you
her a
guys
shoulder
know, Henry
protection.
is the head of the Department of Archaeology.
I'm still.
This is
Oh
okay,
yeah, that guy.
fantastic. Yep, this is the guy who's.
that Henry.
Oh,
Yeah,
oops, oopsies.
I figured with the way that you guys were speaking to him that you mistook him for someone else.
All of you tall skins look the same.
And so he'll be somewhat taken back on. He's like, all right, well, listen, the board of departments have decided to come together and have a hearing about the most recent find that you guys have brought to the Tower of Doors. There has been a movement to transfer the care of the crystal over to the Department of Life Sciences. And also the Department of Justice and Law is also putting in a bid for it. Now, clearly, you know, there's not. I can stand against it, but you know, it is currently up to the tower. So, if there's any way that you guys would be able to come in or sit down or assist or perhaps, you know, put in a information to why the care of this crystal should remain in the Department of Archaeology. I mean, the historical significance of this find is far too great, and just I think it would be a very dangerous thing to start going around and meddling with this without understanding quite what's going on.
Well, my dear Henry, I must say I wholeheartedly agree. We certainly cannot let that crystal fall into the hands of those necromancers. And furthermore, we happen to be on our way to the tower at this very moment. Perhaps we can assist you while we take care of the important business that is not entirely unrelated to which we are already planning to attend.
Right. Well, it would be, you know, my pleasure to escort you and discuss and perhaps put together a game plan. The hearing is going to be in 2 days' time, so perhaps if you guys put together a proper, you know, a piece of information to negotiate and talk and convince the, you know, the department heads that it should remain in our department. After all, it was our find. Just go letting people going about what we have discovered all willy-nilly, I'm certain we will be able to keep it safe and secure.
I assure you I will do everything within my power to keep that particular object within the bounds of the Department of Archaeology.
Fantastic. And with that, he'll start leading you guys towards the tower, if that is where you still wish to be heading towards.
I don't know, Taz, do we still want to go to the tower?
Please.
Cool. So while I'm going to have you guys kind of talk and put together a little bit of an idea on where you want to move forward. I'm going to need to step off just for a second to deal with a couple things, and I will be right back. So I will be back in a couple minutes. Some outside of the game world things have
The
popped
DM
up, so I
steps
will be back
away.
soon.
Uh-oh.
Alright, guys. What's the plan?
I mean, is the plan to just go look at the thing so Taz calms down?
Basically, that's all I got. Just horrible nightmare, horrible bad feelings. She thinks that it's free.
Well, look, Henry here just came from the tower, and he mentioned nothing about any issues, the problems. If there was anyone who would be, knowledgeable about the current state of our crystalline friend, I believe it would be him. I take that as a good sign.
What if they haven't checked on it? Since, yes.
Well, this is... Do you really think that the Department of Archaeology would have not checked on such an object? I find that suggested absolutely preposterous.
I mean, crystal kind of boring. Like, it just sits there and makes snakes. Not that cool. I'd ignore.
Boring? Snags me, my friend. You have no idea what you're speaking of. This is the most extraordinary of finds. In fact, in all my scholastic years, I have come across nothing that carries quite as much interest to the studious mind as that object with which that we had delivered to the department.
Yeah, but what crystal do? You can't wear it, can't eat it, can't throw at giant troll, can't use it to take over entire nation. No purpose, just sits there like giant paperweight that take up full cave.
Maybe they got tired of the fact that the guy inside of it is a whiny bitch.
Look, even if you consider it just a rock that spits snakes, I mean, surely you must find that in and of itself rather interesting, right?
The snakes got stopped by tiny drawings on ground. Like, not even high enough for normal snakes to, like, not crawl over. It's dumb rock. Now, I don't know why you care so much about Big Crystal, but I guess they pay well, so okay.
Oh, I wish I could say that they did. Believe me, I did not choose this life for the money.
What you mean they don't... What? Aren't wizards rich? Aren't tall skins real rich in Giant Tower? I mean, they have so many doors.
Oh, this is true. I cannot argue with that logic. If wealth, I should say, is to be measured in doors, well, the collective wizards of the world are rich indeed.
Are you saying we're not getting paid very much for this?
I do not believe financial compensation was strictly part of the deal, my friend.
Are you saying Snags
Do
me
any of us-
intern?
Yes, I believe that is essentially what is happening here. My apologies if the knowledge has just become apparent to you.
As intern, do I get cool wizard hat?
I'm sure something can be worked out. I mean, not a wizard's hat. That would be ridiculous, Snagsby. You're not a wizard. But,
Snagsby's gonna start stamping his feet. If Snagsby worked for Wizard College,
okay.
Snagsby get wizard hat.
All right, Snagsby. Now, let me ask you this. How are you going to wear a wizard hat when you're already wearing a conductor hat? If you do not wear your conductor hat, you own no train, sir.
Wizard hat go over conductor hat. I have different fancy occasions. I can wear more than one hat.
You are a goblin of many talents. No one would argue this.
Snake got to become Dobby.
Snagsby became Dobby instead. That's what I walked in towards.
Master,
so
give
many
Snagsby
hats.
clothes.
He wants his own wizard hat. And we were like, but you're already wearing the conductor hat. And he's like, I'll wear both.
Stack the hats one on top of the other. The question is, Snagsby, would the wizard hat be on top of the conductor's hat or underneath?
Or what if the wizard hat is a very small wizard hat that sits on top of the conductor hat? As though the conductor hat is also wearing a hat.
Oh, so it's kind of like how Carl has his own familiar now in his mind, Thunderlord, Destroyer of Worlds.
It could be that, or it could be that Snagsby just switches out his hats depending on what skill he wants to have for the day, or what perceived skill he wants. It's like a spell slot.
That's ridiculous. In 3.5, there's actually a class which is like that. It's like the Master of Many Masks. It's a prestige class, and what happens is you can have a certain number of masks that you have, and each day, depending upon which mask you choose, it gives you a different set of ability score buffs and things like spells you could cast or different weird buffs. So the more
That's
you know.
amazing. I love it.
All right. So the professor ends up taking you and the rest of the party, Henry Walton Jones, Professor Jones, towards the Wizard Tower, and continues on inside. Oop. Did it actually? Did it load the image for you guys or no?
It did, and there's some phenomenal music playing.
Ah, fantastic. Yeah, for some reason it's not.
It's
It
huge.
makes you feel like all like hopeful.
Huge.
Anything is possible.
Ah, there you go. Oh man, my connection to the server has been interrupted. So give me just a minute. Let me try and get my internet working properly again. It seems to be giving me a little bit of a runaround. There we are. Connected to the 5G now. It is looking. Ah, perfect. All right. It has popped up for me. So you guys continue, following Mr. Jones to the Wizard Tower, to his personal study in the Tower of Archaeology, and you pass by, wizards. People, go ahead and make me a perception check now that you are here.
I perceive.
Fantastic.
I love that one. It's my favorite one.
Yeah. Cool. So, Byron, you would get a large bonus to this since it is the department.
Of course, I've
the
gotten a
school
one
that
now.
you went to. The rest of the party, you're able to notice that in the same way that Byron tends to wear the color brown with his clothing as he goes around, you're noticing that the other people here at the school seem to have their myriad of colors that they have a tendency of wearing, whether it is white or green or red, and you're able to determine that it's some form of significance to the school itself, the rest of the people. Byron, used in particular under the Tower of Doors in your section, has what each color represents and which school it represents. School of Magic. So as you are a universalist, each one of the foci of magic that people study is determined by a different color here. And the list is along those lines.
Wooch,
And the rest of the party, recognizes that there seems to be this type of pecking order, as well as, rings, interlocking rings attached to their robes. While Byron has, 6 rings currently, which seems to be pretty high. There are some people who have 9 rings, but most of the people have 1 or 2 rings who are traveling around this area. And the department head brings you up to his private study, which has all manner of old and strange artifacts lining the walls, and bits and baubles and things and jars. And he brings you here, and he's like, "Yes, so, what business did you have, here at the Tower of Doors? What am I able to assist you with in exchange for your assistance with our issue?"
You want me to do it, or you want to keep doing the thing? Because yeah. You know how to talk to them nicer than me.
Right now.
Hold on, sorry, my son just walked in here and is asking me for something. Give me just one moment.
Yeah, that's all right. So while you guys are here, go ahead. Since you're in his study, you can go ahead and make me a perception check for anybody who wants to kind of snope around his private study, see if there's any interesting things that you're looking for.
Finally, something other than a 1. I am so excited. Jesus Christ.
Cool. So yeah, Taz, while you're going around, you're looking at several odds and ends. In it, he has bookshelves filled with things in arcane writing of types. What languages do you speak, Ember?
1 second.
I'm gonna go into this
I
wizard
don't remember
college.
where I have it written down.
I'm gonna use my desert wisdom. I'm gonna look at their books, angry and annoyed at how they write
Common,
things.
orc, goblin, and celestial.
Got it. So yeah, you would recognize a couple things in both Celestial and what seems to be, ancient Orcish. They seem to be history books written in ancient Orcish along the lines there. You take a peek at it, and you see the victory of the Western Front, and in Celestial you see something called the history of the fall of the Seven Towers. And you also, there's several, pieces of artifact there. What seems to be a arrow inside of a glass case, which is kind of interesting along there, and a bust of a creature that seems to be made out of stone, a black stone or marble stone, which is kind of a cross between that looks like a cross between an owl and a bear. There, a bust of that on his area, as well as books and papers and all sorts of things kind of scattered about in piles.
Anything worth stealing?
I mean, with a perception check, yeah, perception of 27, you're pretty certain that you might be able to, snag what you see on, on his desk. It seems to be a sack of coin. Most of the artifacts in here are pretty
Our
unique.
roguish
so if they
cleric
went
is
missing
stealing
and
again.
sold up, appeared
It's
on the black
perfect.
market, it would be quickly brought back to
Perfect.
him. But you're pretty certain that you would be able to get something, find somebody out in the night market who would be willing to sell it. The
She's
book
just
could go
eyeball
for
it. Not gonna try and take anything just now. Just sort of, you can't stop her from what she is.
Well, yeah, 1 second.
We've got all this dead space. We're waiting for Byron to decide what to do.
I sit in his chair.
I'll continue on and be like, well, I'm guessing that you have a desire to take a peek at the crystal as well and make sure it's, in order, or were you coming to the school to make use of the library?
Well, my dear friend Henry, of course we would like to check in on the crystal. I dare say, if you'd like to perhaps settle a discussion for my friends and I here, you, of course, have been keeping an eye on this crystal, right? I mean, it is under observation. It has not just been left in some warehouse on its lonesome, correct?
What? No, not at all. It is still in the facilities that we showed it to you the other day. We tend not to, go in there very often, as it is a dangerous, somewhat unstable, piece of magic. But we have our, people regularly come in and, check the circle of protection on it, and continue to keep it up and refreshed, every several days, to keep its potency keen. It is a rather volatile piece of magic, as you are certainly aware of, and so we're doing our best to, keep it in a secure location within the department's within the department. There are not many things that fall under the purview of the Department of Archaeology that are deemed dangerous, but we are doing what we can to keep it all well and put together.
You see, Taz, I told you, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. It is in the best of hands.
I need to see it.
Right, of course. And with that, he'll lead the party in through the department again, the same kind of situation that you went through before. Several of the other wizards, going about their business, wearing brown robes, studying and mostly keeping in the books and writing down things. A lot of books and pieces of magic arcanum, magic items. And he brings you to a large pair of leaden doors, and leads you through. And after a while, there's a hallway with several different rooms on either side with numbers out on the front. And he eventually brings you to, room number 26. And he's like, all right, here it is. And with that, he will open the door, which are lead lined, so it kind of takes him a big oomph, and cast a little spell to illuminate the room. And inside of the room, you see there is the same plate as before, with a circle of protection written on it. Seems to be continuing to glow with the blue magic that was before. And as before, the crystal is still currently sitting there, and every once in a while a snake will slither its way out and land on the ground. And there is kind of a pool of snakes just sitting kind of about 2 inches deep worth of snakes pooled around, but being kept within the circle. And the obsidian crystal is still there, floating in space. And you see what seems to be a shadowy form coalesce back inside of it, as it normally does, taking the form of a half elf again, just sitting there meditating with its eyes closed, sitting cross-legged.
How does Crystal look to you, wizard man?
That does seem to be well contained. I don't believe we have any change of circumstance that can be detected, at least visually. I mean, Taz, you had this vision, I believe you called it. Did it impart any particulars to you that you might use to determine the veracity of your vision again, as you say?
So, is there any way to put the snakes back in and actually seal that crack back up again?
Oh, are you asking Henry, or?
I'm asking the general room as I'm staring at it. I'm asking the whole room.
Cool. I mean, anybody who has, I guess, spellcraft. A spellcraft check.
Ooh, I have spellcraft.
Yeah.
But no points in it.
Oh, well.
Same.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Byron, I will have
Schnegsby is not a
Henry
very intelligent goblin. He is a little dumb.
roll as well, since he is in the room. All right. Well, Henry will kind of look over to you, Byron. Say, well, what are your thoughts? Byron, what comes to mind is that whatever the spell is that was used to create the crystal would probably need to be cast again, to be able to, basically refresh it. Whatever the magic was that was originally used to create it is, probably what is needed. Anything else, anything of lower level would just be kind of putting band-aids on it.
If we were to put man in smaller stone, would he be weaker?
Well, Snagsby, I believe you'd find to put him into another stone, you'd need to first remove him from this one. An act I am most hesitant to perform.
What if we shrink this stone to be really, really small?
That's not how this works, I suspect. I mean, honestly, the magics used to create this artifact are thousands of years old and likely lost in their, exact specifications to our current knowledge. I think I would estimate that messing with this magic is asking for more trouble than we're prepared to take on.
Yes, I would. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Have you done any research or learned anything about who is in that thing? Like, do we have any idea yet of who that is? Or what?
Based off of the original texts that Alatar brought to me, the person, 1 second, seems to go by Sha Ching, SHA-CHI, whom seemed to have been some sort of priest or holy man during the late Second Age, we would say, beginning of the Third Age, based off of the nature of the texts that we had here. And I mean, based off of the fragments that that our good Alatar Triwind brought, he seemed to have done some sort of great taboo of some form, and ended up being imprisoned in this format for his transgression. So what we've been able to speak of or determine, there's not much writing, that still exists from the from the Second Age, especially over in the part of the world where you guys discovered this. Much had been destroyed by the great calamity and the encroaching desert from further west, as well, in the Great Wall of Sand. Many what used to be great lush green lands ruled by the elves has turned into barren desert wasteland over there over the last 4,000 years or so. But that is currently, the information that we have upon him. Possibly, possibly from the old, the older races, the ancient races. The information was written in ancient Elvish, but this doesn't seem to be of any type of ancient Elvish magic that I've crossed.
So it's not a clear cut he evil or not evil, right?
Oh, no, we have definitely determined that he is evil. I mean, there's no question about that. Being like this does not get trapped in a crystal by the society that entrapped him without, believe me, earning his sentence.
Mm-hmm. Also, the fact that the circle of protection versus evil seems to prevent his magic or any forms of escaping or pushing its way out heavily leans that he would happen to be evil. Otherwise, the circle would do nothing. Quite frankly. Either that, or else perhaps the crystal itself is evil, but that seems unlikely, considering he blasted a bolt of jet black energy which sucked the life force out of several human beings and did things of that nature.
If we were to put him in big lead-lined box and drop an ocean, do you think that'd be the best way to deal with him?
No. I don't think removing him from the circle, first of all, is a particularly wise course of action. Let alone depositing him somewhere that cannot be observed and, maintained in a containment field. Snags me. I like the way you're thinking. Believe me, I would love to be rid of the responsibility of this object, but right now, this is the best we can manage.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I want to
mean,
do like a real quick.
Yeah.
I want to do some sort of, I don't know, maybe Arcana check or something. I do want to see if I can determine anything about this, if its status has changed by looking at it a little closer.
absolutely. Make me a knowledge check.
That's not too bad. He's got himself a 22.
Sorry, I didn't see the roll. With the 22, it seems that it has become stable again. You're guessing that much of the decay that has happened with the crystal seems to have come from the just general motion and movement of the crystal, and now that it is no longer moving back and forth or things like that, it has come back into a sense of equilibrium.
Well, look, all seems to be well here, as far as we can tell. I mean, Taz, I don't know again if you want to examine this any further, but I'm quite convinced this is exactly the state that we left it in, and I believe I would rather be attending to matters elsewhere.
Okay. Okay.
Well, that was easier than I thought. Fantastic. What do you say we go on with our day, folks?
You said there's a library here, right?
Oh, yeah, it's quite an extensive one.
Please show me where the library is. And Schnagsby is going to go to the library.
Cool, so Snagsme is heading to the library.
I definitely want to look into doing whatever Henry was needing.
Oh, yes. So you will be spending time with Henry. Henry's big thing is to try and come up with a sound argument to be able to keep the crystal under the care of the Department of Archaeology, as opposed to the Department of Life Sciences or the Department of Defense, who are currently both trying to put to the council bid of control of the artifact.
Fucking fascists.
It belongs in a museum.
Exactly. Tilly, what would you like to do?
Well, Tilly's not going to be of any use on that adventure. Woogie will go follow after Schnagsby, mostly in the hopes that she gets to witness him get yelled at by a librarian for not being quiet enough.
Fantastic. Thorn, what would you like to do?
She has no idea how accurate she is with that statement. I'm going to get yelled at so many times. Jesus Christ. Just all that will happen will be me getting yelled at constantly. We seem to have lost our Thorn.
Is he there?
Ugh, man,
I'm not
I got
certain.
the sleepy eyes today.
Hold on,
Technical
Sleepy.
Who are you talking to?
Thorn. Oz.
Oh, okay.
The Oz. What's up, chat? How you guys doing? How's life? How's it all going? You doing good? You doing well? How's your mother? I'm Mark Wahlberg. How's your family? How you doing? How's your dad? Oh, man. What will the gang get up to this week?
Thorn doesn't know what to do. He is observing things, but he's very reticent to make any sort of action.
Okay. Well, you can remain inside of the tower, or continue on with your other adventures, or follow along with one of the other party members.
Sorry, we're trying to figure out the whole headphone microphone situation.
Mm-hmm. And
think I need to. I think Schnagsme needs to figure out if there are any books written by goblins, and if so, what those books look like. I don't know how goblin language is set up in this universe, but I know how I'm going to play it if William lets me get away with it. If our mighty DM lets us get away with how goblins write,
We're working on it still.
it'll be perfect. Actually, let's try this real quick.
Can you hear me better now?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, Thorn is just observing. He doesn't know what to do as far as crystals or magic or necromancers or anything else like that. He's very hesitant to make any sort of action because he doesn't want to screw anything else up, and so he's just kind of quietly, anxiously waiting.
We're gonna see if this works. I really hope Will bites, because it'll be funny. At least I think it'll be funny. Hello? Is our DM out there? Where could you be? I think God has left us, guys. We've angered him.
So whenever that happens, I never know if it's just me. Like, did I just lose everybody?
We have lost God.
Well, first we couldn't hear Oz, and then he passed that on to Will.
We have no direction now. This journey was cursed from the beginning. God has turned his back on us.
I'm gonna eat the snakes.
That is something that Thorn would do.
Eat the snakes. I want to see that now.
Eat the spaghetti. Eat the living spaghetti.
It is like some sort of spicy, spiky fettuccine.
Spiky fettuccine.
It's the carbonara we've all been asking for. Is God back? Has he returned to us?
Was I gone during all of that discussion time where I was explaining what was happening?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right, well, here, we'll work with Snag Shmi and Wookie for a while they're trying to get their things figured out, and spent like the time describing the walk down the hallway and different wizards and pieces of magic and classrooms and, interesting backstory. And then I asked a question and there was nothing in response. So, hello?
Do it again. Except now Oz fixed his mic so he can answer.
Oh, cool, fantastic. So before I do that, Oz, what you can follow one of the other party members. You can continue with your communication back and forth between the two lordlings. You can assist with the defense of the crystal.
Thorn is going to try and help with the defense of the crystal, but his idea of defense with the crystal is to eat every single one of the snakes that comes out of the crystal.
Okay. Cool. So you will go forward and go to reach across the circle, and as you do that, Henry goes, "No, what?"
No. Not reach across the circle. If the snakes come to the circle or come through it, he eat the snake.
Gotcha. I understand. So you sit there for a while, and you notice that the snakes do not seem to cross the circle, and you take about a half hour because nobody's really just sat with the crystal before to observe. So you make me an observation check, I guess. Make me a perception check. Cool. So with the 18, you're sitting there and you decide to just watch a particular snake because you're like, all right, well, if a snake comes out, where does it go? So you watch one slither out and sit around and join the writhing mass. And after about an hour's worth of time, you notice that the snake stops being on the top of the writhing mast and continues to go kind of further and further down until it's no longer seen. And what you observe is that the amount of snakes doesn't seem to increase, if that makes sense. So even though it looks like snakes are constantly pouring out of the cracks there, the total number of snakes on the ground stays the same. So you're certain that they kind of hit the ground, and after they've been piled up for so long, they disappear in some way, and they no longer exist.
I was looking forward to slurping the spaghetti.
Ah, alas, there is no spaghetti to slurp unless you want to reach across the circle of protection.
No,
Oh,
that
okay.
is the wizard's doing, and I am by no means a lord of knowledge.
Fantastic. So you spend a good amount of time though watching and observing the snakes and their cycle, and the creature in the crystal just kind of eyeballs you, every once in a while, and make me another perception check. Fantastic. So with
Damn.
a
Well done.
29,
Holy crap.
you notice that his eyes seem to flare black for a moment, and you feel what almost is a beginning of the Lord of Knowledge's arcane arts beginning. And then you also notice around the room several arcane marks inscribed into the lead themselves, pulse with a little bit of energy, and then the feeling of magic seems to pass.
With my perception check, am I able to close my eyes and then simply try and feel the vibration around me as a mole person?
Well, this is lead as opposed to stone, so I'll give it to you. So what are you trying to observe?
What kind of vibrations the arcane symbols are making?
Got it. Do you have any dots in arcane? Like, do you have any points in knowledge arcane or spellcraft?
Nope. But I'm just simply trying to, because if he's are these arcane symbols showing up in the walls around me, and are the walls wood?
No, all of the walls in here are made out of lead.
Okay.
Yep.
So I can't really sense any sort of vibration, but can I speak to the thing in the crystal?
Sure. And then after a little bit, I'll jump to Ember because I haven't asked her what she wants to do, and then we'll go down the party. So what would you like to say to the thing inside the crystal? And it's just the two of you.
And to kind of paint a picture, just imagine Thorn in kind of a cross-legged, sitting on the floor pose, almost kind of like meditative.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees the thing in the crystal's eyes go black and then attempt some sort of spell. He doesn't understand it, but he sees that he's trying some sort of spell, and the spell recedes. And he says, "Being, whether you be malevolent or simply wanting out of your prison, I understand your plight. No one wants to be trapped. No one wants to be imprisoned. But I have to ask myself, what did you do to make you in prison? I see your eyes go black. My eyes go black as well from time to time, but my eyes do not go black from hate or anger. It is from wanting to know, wanting to learn. What do you know, thing in the prison?
Cool. So let me. Got it. Roll my key there. Of course. All right. Bob is that.
I'm not mad. I'm
Okay.
disappointed.
What languages do you speak? Oh, I guess he would be. Nope, because he's from that age. So do you have languages? Well, actually, it would be something very similar to what troll people use to write.
I literally have nothing listed under languages.
Yeah.
However, with this thing being essentially where I'm from,
Yeah.
I would probably assume that it speaks something
Yeah,
I'm familiar with.
Yeah, somewhat familiar. So it's not able to speak, but it writes out. So what does it know? It writes, I know the ways to honor our ancestors. I know the ways to free the people from tyranny. I was imprisoned for eating the fruit which we were told was not for us, yet the gods consumed themselves.
I am familiar with your reticence towards gods. I myself have a change of faith. Your knowledge, is it dangerous to those around you? A few have died in the process of simply transporting your prison. I understand your anger. I understand your hate. This hate and anger grows in me as well. But I do not let it consume me and manifest in, well, what we literally see before you as snakes. Does your knowledge threaten everyone?
He'll breathe on it again, and he writes, the power to change threatens those who hold the rein. Power is dangerous no matter who wields it. So the more knowledge and power, the more dangerous one becomes.
And it is what we choose to do with this knowledge and what we choose to do with this power that makes all the difference. And again, my friend, I understand your predicament. I understand your frustration towards your imprisonment. But if your power, if your knowledge threatens those that I love, I can do nothing but end you.
And with that, he'll just kind of give you a lopsided smile for half a second, and he'll go back and close his eyes and continue to sit and meditate in peace. And that will be the pause on that scene. Ember, what are you aiming to do?
She wants to go check on her kids, her little crew.
Fantastic. So you go forward real quick to go and check on your crew. You end up going to their location, where their room is set up, and you can see them chatting busily. Are you sneaking up on them or just making yourself known?
Yeah, I would totally sneak up on them.
All right, make me a stealth check.
Ooh.
Clearly, I was very shooken up by my visit to the crystal, and I'm not on my game.
Cool. Oddly enough, the rest of them, all of them seem to be completely engrossed in what seems to be some sort of game with little like copper discs that they're bouncing off the ground, and with crosses like blacked out on one side and clear on the other, and they're bouncing them in the air and catching them away. And 5 of them are completely engrossed in it, and the 6th one seems to notice you, hear you. He grabs his dagger, sees that it's you, and then just kind of skulks back into the depths of the area, attempting to hide, but doing a very poor job of it.
Boo.
Oh my god! Oh, it's you, Lady Taz.
So, tell me what you been doing. How was your day? What'd you learn? What'd you steal? Catch me up.
Yeah. Oh man, let me tell you. We went forward, and there was this man out on the street, and he was being really really loud and obnoxious and kind of mean to some of the people around. And so, one of us bumped into him, and then the other one went forward real sneaky like and cut his purse, and he caught us, but we ran really really fast and got away. And look at what all we got. And they dump out what is a bag, and it's mostly filled with copper and silver pieces, which they seem to be using to gamble, play this little game with. But they seem very, very proud of that. And you notice that in the corner, there seems to be some stocks of, pieces of wrappers from fruit pies and candies that they seem to have gorged themselves on overnight. And they're playing a game with the rest of the money. And
Oh. So, did you learn any information? Hear anything? Something that might have happened? Oh, I don't know, with the Nooks. Anything? Any information you learned?
Cool. One second. One more. Cool. The 4 who were very excited about playing the game and doing this stealing looks kind of shady, ashamed of themselves. And the boy in the back corner, one of them goes, "Yeah, it sounds like the the Nooks got in all manner of trouble last night. That they went forward, and they're trying and sabotage the Ravenloft family. And I heard that there's some sort of turf war going on, that the Nooks are planning some sort of big coup going on there." And the other ones are like, "No, that's just rumors. And the one that was skulking in the shadows properly, he'll wait, and he said, "Actually, I was listening on the streets, and I found something more directly related to you, if you're interested."
I'm very interested. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's, I heard that the Nook's rival, since you guys have been, have such a big reward on you, that um, one of the other big bosses named Red was interested in talking to you guys to try and come up with some sort of deal to try and like go against the Nooks.
Red, you say?
Uh-huh.
Do you know what family they're with?
Let me see if I wrote down last name. Place. Second. Well, that's what the family is called. They're called the Reds. Where is it?
What
Here
are they
it
called?
is. Reds. Red's place. Where is it? I think the main guy, the head of the house is called Jolly.
Wait, what?
Pirates.
Jolly?
Jolly
Yeah.
Red. They're pirates.
Yeah.
Like the
Jolly.
Jolly Reds?
Yeah.
This is
such
awesome.
a weird town.
Halflings.
This is wonderful.
So I know. So all of you little fun halflings have been gambling and celebrating and eating your candy.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna feel like shit in the morning. I'm just gonna let you do the thing. And I'm gonna come back and visit you, and you're not gonna know when, but I expect this place to be clean. I totally am cool with you gambling, that's fine. But you should probably know that I'm gonna pop in and you're not gonna know when. And also, you need to know the difference between a rumor and a fact. And I flick a piece of silver to the skulky one, and I'm gonna let them go about their day, rest of their night.
Cool. He kind of puffs up, but in kind of a extra sulky sort of way about it. This was the same one who was talking about you were who was asking about backstabbing the other ones originally, and on it, he seems pretty proud of himself for doing what he sees as being right. And with that, we'll jump over to Snagshmi and Woogie. So the two of you are led down the hallways back and forth. And as you head through the Wizard Tower, it is a large campus. And there's plenty of rooms with, you take a peek inside with arcane symbols drawn on chalk, different colored rings above each of the doors, and wizards just coming to and fro about their business. Many of them having livery servants, communicating and running errands for them as well. It is a rather bustling place, and eventually you are led to the main library hall. And Snagshmi, this is the largest inside building that you have ever been in your life. It is a solid 3 stories tall, with just books continuing as far down as about what you would imagine about half a football field, and just rows upon rows of books. Inside of it, there are glass containers, little rooms that people can go in where they're you can see wizards practicing different arcane spells. You see number of familiars, ravens and hawks. There are centipedes and beetles and chickens, even pigs, scurrying about, following along the wizards back and forth. And Henry goes, well, here is access to the great library. Myself and Byron are primarily going to be trying to figure out, how to keep the department, this item in the department's hands. Good luck with whatever research you are doing. Please don't get into any amounts of trouble, as it will look poorly upon the Department of Archaeology, and we don't really have much wiggle room for that right at this moment. But I trust you, and be well, and I have work I need to do now. And with that, he will leave with Byron. Byron, do you have anything you would like to say to them as you and Henry head out?
Yes, first of all, wait, Snagsby, why is it that you wanted to go to the library again? I wasn't even aware that you could read.
Snagsby's just gonna glare at him. Goblins have many books. Just because you don't read them doesn't mean we don't know how to fuck you. And he storms off. He stamps his feet and walks off. Just throwing his hands
Okay,
up and
then.
then going off in Goblin. Just in something about a dog,
make
and
sure-
Byron's mother, or in Altar's mother, all of that.
Just please make sure your hands are clean.
I'll make sure he doesn't eat any books.
Oh dear, I hadn't even considered that. Do you think he'll eat books?
Oh, I'm not certain actually, but really, I'm certain the librarians will be able to handle him. After all, we have more important things that we should be worrying about. Here, come up to the office. Let's put together a game plan. And the two of you will go, and I'll cut back to you, Byron, in a little bit. And Snake, Shmi, Tilly, what do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna try to find a librarian. I'm gonna be talking to Wubby while I'm walking over there. This is a much better way to write stories. They must have many stories in these little things of leather and paper. We usually just put stories up on walls or on back of dogs. But when dog runs away with story, it's hard to tell rest of goblins.
I would imagine so. Just on walls?
Yeah.
All of them? All your stories?
Well, on walls, pieces of metal, sometimes on people we capture. Just depends on what anything we can write on. We don't have a lot of room for books in Goblin Society, but our books are easier to read. They make more sense. And he'll like grab a random book and open it and sees all the letters. And he'll be like, how you focus on these too many drawings? And then closes the book and throws it back on the ground and throws it on the ground and tries to find a librarian.
All right. After a little bit of searching, you seem to notice a woman behind a desk where people are coming and going from, and books are kind of floating around her and being stacked onto. And whether or not she's a librarian, she seems like somebody who is important there. After all, she has a desk.
I walk up to her and very respectfully take off my hat. Or how tall is the desk, first and foremost? Yeah, are we talking gnomish desk or are we talking people-sized desk?
People-sized desk, but there are step stools for halflings and gnomes to go up and see properly.
Gnomes are people too, man.
Yeah.
I crawl up onto the gnomish footstool and I take my hat off very ceremoniously and set it on the table. And I look at this lady.
Okay.
Hello, you seem
hello.
You seem very busy and very wise. I see many books floating around your head, which means you must know all stories. I need to find books about goblins, and I need parchment, and I need quills with many colors.
Oh, right. Of course, young halfling. I'll be more than happy to point you in the direction. You said books about goblins?
Books written by goblins. Like
Okay.
goblin lore. Things about goblins. Like goblins have rich history. There are books on goblins here, right? This library has all sorts of history books, right?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's not much writing that we have, gathered by goblin kind from out in the west. I'm certain that, if you head over to the foreign um, aid section, you might be able to find something over in that direction. But I'm afraid that there's not much written by goblins. There's plenty of treatises about goblins, goblin war bands, mating rituals. There was a wizard for a while who was quite intrigued upon learning about the goblin hierarchy amongst the people and spent several years as disguised as a goblin. Wrote an entire thing.
I think that book would be good too. Also, I need parchment and quills with many different colors. All colors.
Sure. It would be my pleasure. Of course, I'll be happy to, provide parchment and that for you. And she'll gather 6 different inkwells of different colors and several pieces of fine parchment. She'll be like, this will be about 5 silver altogether.
I'll give her the money.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go off to find that book, and I'm going to find a desk that is secluded, and I'm going to open up that book.
Okay.
And I'm going to.
It is.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. You take a look at the cover, and it is written by Stefan Irewind, Department of Archaeology, the 5th Circle.
As I'm flipping through chapters, do I agree with the stuff that he's written, or do I find it offensive and wrong?
Can you read it?
I don't know. Is it in common?
It is. Yeah, I'll say it would be in common. There's some information on it. However, the while the tone is very appreciative of goblin kind, talking about their interesting ways and how beautiful they are in their own perspective, their entire viewpoint on goblin hierarchy and tribal society is completely upside down and backwards. Talking about strange moon rituals, and that depending upon what the season is of the moon changes goblin temperament back and forth, driving them to their raiding formats versus agriculture and things of that nature, and talking about societal hierarchies being a thing which is based purely off of whoever is the biggest and most ferocious.
Schnagsby is going to let out a very large laugh, and I'm assuming Schnagsby wasn't walking around with his amulet today, because every other time I've gone here, I've been I think every time else that we've been here, I've been as a goblin.
Ah, got it. I had you pegged as in halfling form. Otherwise, her original interactions with you wouldn't have called you.
Okay, then we'll stick with halfling. I can work with that still. All right. So as I'm going through this book and I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing the mistakes that were made here. Whoopi, are you still standing by me?
Yep. I'm just reading over your shoulder.
I'm gonna look at Whoopi. I'm like, you know what, Snagsby thinks it's important that people understand goblins, and this guy almost got it right. I'm going to help his book. And I rip the pages out of what he's put in about goblin hierarchy, and I start writing how goblins write books, what the hierarchy is. And I'm using all of these colors to make these little kid cave paintings, and I'm using very specific colors for very specific parts of the book, because the colors are what's most important to goblins to dictate how much meaning is there. While doing this, I look at Whoopi and I say, see, this is much more efficient. You could take 20 pages and put it on 2 if you do it this way.
You can't just rip the books up.
I'm not wrecking book. I'm making better and more accurate. And he keeps writing. Can you pass me mauve, please? It's that one, that color there. I need that color.
It's an ugly color, but sure, here's some mauve.
Mauve is the color of intelligence. It's important. You can't use red or orange here. And he finishes writing it. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, so it'll take you a little bit of time to go through and get the colors all put together. Oddly enough, the librarians missed their perception check on you ripping pages out of the book, so you are able to do it without issue. While this is going on, and Shnagshmi is deeply engrossed in his art form, Wookie, you feel a tap on your shoulder, and yeah, you turn around and you actually see. One second, let me pull up the name properly. You actually recognize the person as Tanyan Windfinder, the head of the Department of Justice and Law, the woman who was in charge of all the people during the transportation of the crystal off the train onto to the tower. And she'll.
Oh, was she the head lady there when the crystal killed everybody?
Yeah, she was the head lady there when the crystal killed everybody, who got into quite the argument with Henry Jones.
Oh, hey, it's you're. Hi.
Hello. I'm glad to see that you are enjoying our library here.
Don't mind him. I'll pay you back for the book.
Of course. It is of no particular concern of mine. In fact, I was hoping to pull you aside for a few moments while your compatriot is deeply engrossed in his fine arts there.
I mean, I guess. Sure. And then she looks over her shoulder at Snagsby and she's like, if I'm not back in like 5 minutes, I'm probably dead.
Okay, that's fine. I read about you too.
Thanks.
And he'll continue to write. She'll take you over to one of the cubicles and bring you inside. And as soon as you get inside, you can feel that it is much quieter on the inside, and there's some sort of protective magic involved. And she closes the glass door behind it and makes an arcane gesture, and the glass turns from clear to kind of a black color instead, and it lights up from within with the two of you inside.
I'm not really fond of that trick.
I'm certain. My apologies. It is just the matters that we have to discuss are somewhat sensitive in nature, and I wish to just have a little bit of privacy for both your sake and ours.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't murder me.
Of course not. My department is that of law and justice and protection as a whole. And while you and your compatriots brought an item of great danger into the city, it is not against you that I have any ill will that one of my students died at all. It was not your issue, and really I should have taken more precautions at the time. So while I understand your worries, be assured that I have no ill towards you.
Okay, cool. So what's up?
Well, I wish to gain your assistance in a particular matter. In fact, you as well as your compatriots. The item that you brought in, as you are well aware, is of extreme danger, not only to the Department of Archaeology, but possibly to the city itself. And while Henry is a fantastic person and has lots of knowledge in all manner of fields, he is not as specialized in containment of arcane objects as me and my department are. And I think that with just a little bit of time and energy, we would be able to fix the failing containment that is currently going on and make the item actually safe.
Like, put all the snakes back inside of it?
Yes, put all the snakes back inside and seal it back up and make sure that whatever the thing is inside will not be able to harm other people again. All that we need to do is properly understand the spell that was used to capture the creature, and me and my department, I'm certain, would be more than capable of recreating such magic. However, as long as it's in the hands of the Department of Archaeology, Henry has not allowed a single other person outside of his department even see the item, let alone study it or work with it.
That seems weird. Aren't wizards all about, like, everybody knowing everything?
It is a little bit more specific in the Tower of Wizards, the Tower of Doors here. There are undercurrents going back and forth between the 9 houses. All that I need is the assistance of you and your compatriots. In 2 days' time, there will be a seating of the heads of each of the 9 circles. All that I ask is that you give your voice to my department in being able to contain this thing and prevent further harm or damage befalling other people.
And the arcane people, they handle magic items all the time and they don't know how to do that by now?
There's definitely plenty of ways to handle arcane objects. But as you saw, the thing will eventually decay on its own, sure. You saw the situation that it was in, and it was almost able to break free in that mere moment of transporting off the train station. If left in the care of Henry, all that it'll take is one false move or one careless step, and the thing could be completely out. What we need to do is fix the spell that is holding the creature, and the only way we can do that is if the Department of what did I call it again? Justice and
trust
Law
him.
has access
Don't
to it,
trust
so
him,
we can
Tilly.
study the arcane nature of the spells involved.
Just a normal thing that department does, not like off arresting people.
I mean, keeping law and justice and arcane matters in hand is what my department specializes in. We are in charge of all things abjuration. Abjuration magic is protection magic. So, mage armor, circle of protection, protecting from outside demon sources, things like that. Protection spells.
Gotcha. So this is just kind of your thing.
Exactly.
So
And while the Department of Archaeology are generalists and they know lots about little things, this is our specialty.
I mean, they just want to know more about it. Can't they, like, learn more while you protect it? You guys could just work together.
Of course, they'll be more than able to have access to it. Unlike the Department of Archaeology, who isn't letting anybody else even come close to it, we would allow, with the proper protection and spellcasters around, people to be able to observe it so we can actually learn the magics that are involved from it and be able to seal it back up properly. And then we can study it at our leisure as opposed to being just under lock and key.
I mean, I think that's very reasonable.
I'm glad that you think so. So, if you can go forward and talk to your compatriots and discuss this idea with them, it would be of great aid not only to the tower, but I'm certain to the city itself. And with that, she will, remove the darkness that she cast on it, and open the door, and she will glide out in her black robes, and you head back to Snagshmi at about the time when he finishes writing his book. And with that, we'll jump over to Byron really quick. So, Byron, you are currently up in the office with your mentor, with Henry. He's like, "All right. Well, nobody knows more about this than you do, lad. So, what thoughts do you have in mind?"
Well, Henry, first of all, your goal in this discussion, of course, is to keep the crystal under the protection and guidance of the Department of Archaeology, is it not? I do believe you said the Department of Life Sciences, as well as Law and Order, are trying to get their hands on the object. Is that correct?
Yes. Based off of the original summons that will be happening in 2 days, the Department of Life Sciences are desiring access to the crystal to be able to study the particular necromantic magic that that happened with the creature. Clearly, that it is something that is very old and lasts for a long time, and that particular format of spell, the meta magic that it cast, transforming what seemed to have been a lightning bolt spell into some sort of necrotic, life-draining energy, falls well within their purview. But I personally think that the less the Department of Life Sciences has access to this, the better the world will be as a whole. They tend to be a little gung ho.
Yes, understood. I've never felt very good about their kind of magic, if you will. It seems to go against the very nature, essence of the natural order of things.
Yes, all things must have its balance, and all prices must be paid.
Indeed. Now that said, Henry, and believe me, it is certainly within my interest. I would believe to keep this object within the
I'll be
Department of
right back,
Archaeology,
folks.
but
We'll
as,
let this
as
run
we
though while
have
I take
seen,
off.
it is a very powerful artifact. And as much as I again would like to keep it here, and if you can convince me that you believe that that is the best course of action, I will do everything I can to help you. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that this thing is held in check. It is an object of immense power, and I would hate to see it perhaps come to an unfortunate state because of our own internal petty power squabbles between departments.
Of course, of course. I mean, clearly, whatever this thing was put in here for a very important reason, and understanding the history of why it was put in first is better than just mucking around with types of magic that we are unaware of, unable to determine the fact of. I mean, that's pure ludicrousy. The less that the other 8 departments have interaction with this thing until we understand exactly what's going on with it, the better the world will be, I feel, as a whole. I mean, each time that it seems to be moved from place to place, the spells that are keeping it together seem to have weakened.
Well, my friend, you speak my sentiments exactly. I mean, my thought processes. Who better to take care of an object than those who have devoted their lives to the study of the cultures that created such a thing? I shudder to think of those ham-fisted law and order wizards. I use that term very lightly in their case. Or those death-obsessed necromancers getting their hands on such an object, for I fear that they would not treat it with the due respect. And that said, if your mindset is, of course, to learn as much as you can about it before we make rash decisions, well, I can get behind that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, with you and the party's help backing us, I'm certain that we will be able to move forward and get this all handled square away. Well, it's and you guys continue to discuss in this manner for about a half hour, but it feels like you have come to your side on that. So what I will do is he will greet you a good afternoon, as it is becoming evening now after a while, and as you're leaving, make me a passive perception check as well. Cool. With a natural 20. So the two of you have been just kind of sitting in his office and drinking and enjoying a little bit of spirits as you were discussing, going back on old days, back when you were a novice there and he was, mentoring you through the Department of Archaeology and that, and discussing. And he gets a little bit tipsy in the evening as well as you do. And so as he bids you good evening, comes in and greets you goodbye as you agree to go. You notice what seems to be um, a bit of a tattoo sticking out of the base of his collar, and some sort of uh, feathers sticking out as he whisks you away for the evening and departs on other official business. And with that, you're left in a little bit of a conundrum. You feel like you've seen possibly a tattoo similar to that before in the past, but he continues on his way out of his dormitory, out of the office, quickly before you get much chance to discuss further on it. And with that, the day cycle has finished for all the players, and you guys have shifted now over to the evening cycle at the In and Out where all the party members are, and you guys can continue to discuss what your ideas and plans are and how you want to move forward.
So, what was the name of that dude that we sort of kind of, I don't remember if we killed. Did we kill or did we just beat up? The person we're meeting that we got the rust eating stuff from. What was that guy's name?
Gaylord?
No,
Was it
it starts with an
Gaylord?
R. It's like
Is there something
Well,
named Red?
I thought it was
Raz.
Nook.
Raz was the person who got the rust monsters for Gaylord. Gaylord is the person who hired the rust monsters, brought it in.
Just double checking. We got a lot of R names going on here because I got some intel about the Jolly Reds might want to check in with us because they're in opposition to Tom. So there's potential rumor of wanting to meet up and check these guys out. Just see what you think about that. I don't have a lot of info, just a rumor.
And in fact, actually, as you guys return to the In and Out, there are several pieces of paper, each addressed to one of you, with a cordial invitation to the Jolly Red Manor for discussion of a business opportunity.
Well, this is convenient.
A little too convenient, but whatever. Maxie, why do you have different colors all over your hands?
Writing books. And I'm going to
You
start
can
reading.
read?
Schnags me, looks
That's
at her.
what I said.
In Goblin, goes on about her mother and a dog. Stops off and goes sits down and
I
reads the book.
understand
Reads his fucking letter.
all of that. You little shit.
She speaks Goblin.
That's fine. That is completely fine. Schnags me whenever he's pissed off that people are thinking that he's really stupid, even though he is kind of stupid. He always goes off in Goblin.
I mean, his whatever that's supposed to be looks like a 5-year-old did it, but his color theory is pretty down.
What colors are you describing?
All
I literally know of maybe 10 colors at most because I am colorblind as a goddamn mole.
So, upon hearing this, I'm going to walk up to Thorn and I'm going to point out the different colors that are on my hands. And a couple of them are just like what seems like 3 different shades of orange. And he's going to try to describe how they're all different and what each shade of orange means. You see, very important. This is umber. This is burnt umber. This is orange. Burnt umber is what you do for war party. Orange is what you do for what you want to be in charge. And then umber is for love. Can't mix up burnt umber and umber. A lot of goblin wars start that way.
Orange.
50 experience points for that. I love it.
How many?
Color theory for goblins, 50. I
Oh my
love this
God.
idea. It's fantastic.
So I used to work as a charge artist in theater, and my lovely professor decided that we had to memorize the basic colors that we would mix, and we'd have to mix everything for every show. And I'm just sitting here going, "Holy shit, you know all of them." You made my head hurt.
I'm sorry.
Congratulations. No, well played. Well played. Oh, God.
I did set design for a couple of years when I was in college, so we had to premix all their shit too.
Go. It affects your life.
She asks me, what color does my hair mean? She has like kind of like a darkish ruby red color.
Oh, that's a good color. So normally when we want to write story about how children should be seen but not heard, and what happens to them when they're rude and they get thrown to humans where the humans will gnaw and mash on their bones, we normally start with red. So red's good story for horror, also helps to teach the importance of praying to different gods. Mainly fear. Most of goblin life is fear and death. Good color. Very good color.
Cool.
What is this orange you speak of?
And I'm gonna point to my finger again that has orange. This color is orange. This color is umber. This color is burnt umber.
They are literally one and the same. In the hues that register under my visage, the burning sphere in the sky. What color would you describe that monstrosity?
You never look directly at sun, but depending on time of day, oh tall thorn, the sun has many different colors. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's white, sometimes it's yellow. When the smoke of all of our enemies is growing across the sky and the death and screaming of 1,000 people that we have eaten and gnawed upon their bones, then it is red colored because there is smoke. Depends on day.
So you're telling me that there are multiple shades of day. I need a nap.
That's fair. Remember, this color orange, this is umber, this is burnt umber.
They are one and the same. I will literally pick up Schneegschmied by the arm itself and then, like, thrust his hand in front of my face. So he's like 3 feet off the ground. Be like, they are one and the same. Oh, sweet mother of all that is holy.
Fine, I'll show you later. Maybe your sight not good. We need bigger piece of paper and more color. I make you color chart later. That way you can point at color, and if you ever want to write something in Goblin, you just point at color you want, and you can match them against other colors, like color wheel. I call it color page though. Wheels are not cool. Page better.
This hurts, and I hate it.
Wait, but all goblins do this?
Yeah, this how you never read Goblin books. It's like goblins. We don't. Words not good. Like words take up too much paper. Meanings get lost. You use colors, and you can denote bigger meaning. Letter I wrote Ma was great special letter. Had many colors in it. Almost mixed up two colors though. Probably would have started fight. It's hard when you write at night and you can't see things well in dark.
You have night vision.
Yeah, but shades are different in day. I have to think about what color if she's going to write it in daytime or if she's going to read it at nighttime. You have to have right colors for when they're going to read it. Otherwise, that's how wars get started. You read letter at nighttime that's supposed to be read during daytime. Umber looks like burnt umber, and then goblins killing each other. Like, there's rules for when you have to read things. God, these are why wars start with humans. They don't understand.
Is this why wars start with goblins themselves? Because they can't see their own Mother of God colors? This explains so much.
I'm gonna look at Thorn. Goblins see color perfectly. Blind mole man.
This is like 10 times more complicated than I assume Elvish is. And like, but you're not even writing anything. There was, I think, a tree maybe, and did the sun have a smiley face? Was there even a sun?
Okay, so tree was
it just
cactus.
Or-
He was Tractus, and cactus had 6 thorns on it instead of 8 thorns, meaning that person is in charge of that many goblin tribes. That's how far, because cactus is the tallest thing in desert. The sun beats down upon all of us and sucks away our lifeblood and energy as we all starve out in the waste, denoting the importance of being with your tribe. And this is all very simple. I don't understand. Snagsby starts hitting his head, just like complaining now. Fine, I write you story. You leave me alone. I write you story. I explain later. And he's gonna go sit down with his little last piece of paper, and he's going to start crafting the finest, like, explanation he can of goblin writing.
What does moth mean?
Fantastic. Snagsby, I will have you make a either linguistics check or a performance. I'm trying to figure out what exactly would, like, creating a piece of art be
So
considered.
the thing
Like,
that I
you can-
imagine, I think that would actually be for this. It would have to be linguistics, because
Yeah.
for him, this isn't a piece of art. This is just a regular manuscript for how goblins talk to each other. It's kids' drawings. Effectively, it's something you would hang on your refrigerator. But
Oh, yeah.
goblins, they donate a bunch of meaning, like they denote a bunch of meaning from it based on the color. So for him, it would
Mhm.
just be linguistics. It's like writing
Yeah.
in common.
Yeah, and probably between the tribes, the different colors have different meanings actually, which causes more
Exactly.
confusion.
Exactly.
I like that the entire, like, goblin society has now been broken down into color theory wars and people misunderstanding that, and just nobody's ever realized it. That's ridiculous, and I love it, and is now a part of my the story campaign thing.
You're welcome.
Everybody just looks at the stuff and they're like, what the fuck is this shitty kids drawing? Like, these goblins are stupid and illiterate. In reality, it's like the most complicated thing.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's deep, subtle subtext going back and forth between it. There's actually a book series called the Prism series. Has anybody
I
ever?
love those books!
So in and I think it's book 4, the penultimate one. There's talk about like color theory in painting and the different things meaning different things, or it might be a Brandon Sanderson book. But it comes to mind with this, which oddly enough, strangely works. I'm gonna have to figure out how it translated from one of the ancient cultures over to the Goblin. But that is very interesting. I love it. So cool. So Snagshmeat goes off and he starts going into his deep linguistics check. Snagshmeat, I mean, it's 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 a letter.
Exactly.
You're actually writing a part of Goblin poetry. Rewriting Goblin version of William Shakespeare,
Okay.
but it's just in kids' language, and you just don't have the color palette in front of you. While inks are fine, like the really detailed work needs specific clays and pigments from the desert, and they're just not quite right to be able to get the language apart, and the inks just don't mix in the way that you want them to. But it kind of puts it together. There might be a couple spelling errors here and there in it.
Perfect.
Cool. So while Snagshmi is doing that, the rest of the party having thing is yeah. So there was the letter. Yeah. I mean cordially inviting you um uh to the Reds estate at your convenience, and if required, inform the bartender and a coach will be sent for you to protect you along the way to make sure that none of and he calls them uh, those Kaduki savages bother you on your way to visit him. Is what the letter from Red says.
Do we know what that refers to?
Do you speak Halfling? It would be on the first page.
Hold on, my computer's not letting me scroll down. There we go. No, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's some Halfling term that you don't recognize.
Got it.
But yeah.
This is an interesting turn of events. I got to say, I don't know what to make of this, and my visit to the tower went quite well, but there was, I did have an interesting moment right before I left, in which I noticed something that, gave me pause, to say the least, and left me feeling a bit uneasy, and I found myself in a bit of a quandary as to my next course of action. Does anybody else have any thoughts on, these letters to start with?
I'm buying crayons right now.
I'm kind of interested
can
to
draw
see
them
what they have to
pictures.
say. I don't get a feeling like it's a full-on double cross, so I'm curious. Plus, I mean, hey, we've handled double crosses before, and we're great. We're fine. We're fine. Taz has been drinking.
So Taz has had several rounds brought to her throughout the evening. Take 2 silver pieces off as you've had some of the good stuff in the evening.
Doesn't matter. She stole the silver from the kids. It'll be fine.
Perfect.
Would we have recognized, like, do we know anything? First of all, I can't remember if I just forgot or if we just don't know or what. Do we know anything about this group that sent us the letter?
Make me a knowledge local check, I guess. This is the first that you guys have heard of them in the campaign, but your characters might have known about it. And remember, you can only make knowledge checks if you have at least 1 rank in the knowledge.
Never mind. Ignore mine, please.
Which one was that?
Knowledge local.
Oh, got it. Okay, so Schneigschmidt didn't make it. Cool.
Was
Or
there
wait.
another knowledge that we could use?
Knowledge nobility.
Okay, yeah, Snagsme knows nothing about nobles or locals.
Got it. So, I mean, Emperor, from you have your knowledge mostly from what the kids told you. They call the Reds, one of the other major halfling families in the area, and it's kind of like the two mob bosses. And so the Reds and the Nooks used to work together once upon a time, and they have since split off and do not like each other.
I tell this to the group.
Cool. Byron, your particular information tells you, based off of where the map is, since you used to live in the city of Ruby, that the Reds estate, one second, let me pull it up here on the map. Ruby locations is at number 14. So up closer to the Gnomish district.
So I don't have the skill knowledge local, but would I still have local knowledge about this particular city? Or
Sure, I'll give you it about this particular city.
I don't
No.
fucking pay attention.
Yeah, halfling, family politics and dawn fights, fights between warring mafia families is not really what your people do. Once a halfling, always a halfling. So party, would you like? You are able to take the Reds up on their offer, or you can just let sleeping halflings lie. It is your guys' option.
I'm down, but I'm gonna defer, see what y'all think. But I'm interested.
I'm down too. Has Lord Gaylord sent for us at all yet?
You specifically ask for to see if there is any letters from Lord Gaylord at the people, and the head of the inn, embarrassed, goes, "Oh yes, of course. My apologies. This arrived for you earlier in the day. It's just so many people have been coming and going, completely slipped my mind. And there is a summons for you over to the Gaylord estate as well."
Look at the rest of the group. Like, I need to take care of this. Is there any way we can do both, or do you guys want me to meet with you later?
I have to go and meet with Gaston at the Unblinking Eye, who is part of the Ravenholm and Gaylord peace commencement.
So there it seems to be a little bit of a split going on with the party one more time.
Yeah, I can tell you, Alatar, he's not really concerned with any of these things. He doesn't really give a damn about damaging the Nyx too much beyond protecting his own interests, because we've seen we've started a mini war with them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's much more interested in what he thinks he might have seen when he was leaving the tower. So
Yep.
he's kind of just occupied right now mentally.
Okay. Fantastic. So Alatar will continue to stay in the room and study. You are able to take some time to read some of the manuscripts that you have. I've added some more information on some of the books that you had originally read. So if you want more information on those, there's more written in some of those. So that will be what Byron is doing. Taz, what would you like to do?
Well, when is our invitation for?
It seems to be a standing invitation.
Cool. I think it'd be better to wait until all of us want to go. Taz had a lot to drink because she didn't get much sleep last night, so she just wants to go pass the fuck out.
Fantastic. All right, so Taz will go pass the fuck out. Byron will go, or Thorn is going to go to the Unblinking Eye, and Schneckshmi will be heading towards the to Lord Gaylord's Manor. So first we'll do Thorn. So Thorn, you end up heading over to the Unblinking Eye, and you see the same person kind of sitting there, enjoying his coffee, scuttled away, dressed up like an old man, as before. Kind of, just looking back and forth, seeming to be mostly engaged in a book, but keeping his eye out here and there. It looks like there are several cups of coffee in front of him, so you'd imagine that he had been here for a while.
My dear good sir, might I implore upon the brew in which you partake?
He'll look up and, oh, yes, oh, of course. It is the extra dark blend, if you will. Here, come, sit, and I'll be more than happy to share a cup with you.
I greatly appreciate your offer. Might you have any cream or something sweet to add to this brew?
Oh, of course. And I'm guessing you're trying to talk in code to him?
Yeah, and also trying to get a decent cup of coffee.
Okay, cool. He'll go forward and get cream and sugar there as well. And with that, he'll as he slides over the cup, there is a note underneath it with a symbol of an eye in the wax stamp.
I encounter quite often individuals who say to me that they only like to drink their coffee black. Black is magic. Black is death. Black is the most serious of things. And I, for one, enjoy the sweetness. I enjoy the creaminess of a good brew. I think to take one's coffee simply black is an unfortunate outlook on one's situation.
Cool. He's going to try and make a linguistics check to figure out if you're trying to say something deeper on it. He will look at you deeply, profoundly, and he's like, yes, without the cinnamon and the nutmeg of life, what is coffee but an astringent upon the people and, the class? Sure, the coffee will be able to keep you moving forward and accomplish your day-to-day activities, but really, without just the sugar to lighten the life, we have nothing to work towards. The common man just sits and toils.
I find it bitter, my friend, quite bitter.
I'll tell you what. When you see that rapscallion Gaston again, absolutely inform him not to have you be coming around in the future. Make sure to say that in particular to that scoundrel, and that I never want to see your face again.
Truly, of course. Might I also advise that there has been some gifts of unwanted nature given from the Nook family to the Ravenholm storage houses.
He'll get kind of a angry look about him, and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm well aware of the underhanded dealings of the Nooks on that noble household. Trust me, I'm certain that the family will act upon them with absolute ferocity."
My parentage once told me that drinking a particular brew of coffee was much like riding in a poorly made canoe.
What?
It's riding close to water.
It's fucking close to water.
Fantastic. And with that, he'll chuckle and be like, "Well, I must be on my way. I'm certain I've been out welcome, and adieu until we meet again at the eternal resting place." And with that, he will vanish off into the evening. And you are there with the letter. Really quick, Tilly, I didn't ask what you were doing.
I forgot what were my options.
Oh, well, whatever you want. Half the party is kind of staying in for the evening, sleeping off their hangovers, and doing just kind of research and discussion. Snagshmi is off going to talk to, finish his dealings with Lord Gaylord. And that's kind of what's going on. It seems to be a relatively quiet evening.
Yeah, I don't think there's really much for me to get up to anyways.
Cool. So then we'll finish off with Snagshmi. Snagshmi, you are walking by your lonesome out towards Lord Gaylord's manor, going along the same route. And what I need you to do is make me a perception check.
I really wish I had Princess Taifi with me already. God
Yep.
damn it.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, nope. Fantastic. And then round 2. All right. And then what is your AC? Flat-footed?
My AC is flat-footed. That's without the dex?
That is correct.
Okay, so AC without the 3, my AC is 16.
Fantastic.
Flat-footed.
All right. And let me roll 1 for... Nope, so it doesn't critical. I need you to make me 3 fortitude saves, please, as suddenly...
is so rude.
All right. So 2 of those fortitude saves succeed. You're going along, and then all of a sudden you feel 3 mosquito bites along the back of your neck. And you go and you take it back out and you take a look at it. And you notice 3 darts sticking out of you, and you're fighting against it, and you suddenly start feeling very, very drowsy. And with the 10 fortitude save, that's not enough for you to continue on. And you suddenly start tipping over and hit the ground as you hear somebody say, "Ha ha, we got one," as things go to black. And I think that might be a perfect place for us to end for the evening.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So did everybody have a good time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, show.
All right, having 100 experience points for having a good time. For moving the plot forward in 3 different directions, everybody gain 150 experience points. If there is a particular interesting plot thing that you have noticed, you can mention it, and I will give experience points if there are interesting things about the meta story, if there's anything that somebody has come across or recognized.
I think some cultists have made it into the College of the Arcane.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have to say that Alatar suspects the same thing, but man, he doesn't want to believe the worst of his buddy Henry.
Yeah, his buddy and mentor. So there is some very strange happenings along that. So party games, I'll give everybody 25 experience points on that, and Schmag Shmee an additional 25. I will also give Ember an additional 25 for immediately picking up on the Jolly Red. It's just, it works fantastically. And I'm going to give another 50 to Thorn, 25 for your interactions with the crystal, taking your time to communicate more, because I don't think your character has ever communicated with it before. He's never really sat down and talked. And then another 25 for the continued intrigue of the two houses, both alike in dignity. And I already gave Snag Shmee, I gave you 50 experience points already for the...
Yes, sir.
Cool. And then I'll give everybody a chance to give out a nod to a player.
I'm gonna give it to Snagsme for the colors and the the color theory of goblins. Let's just call it that.
Snag Shmee for putting together a fantastic piece of world lore. Gain 50 experience points. What's interesting for me, at least, is one of the ancient races in the world has a whole lot to do with color theory. So I'm just
fantastic.
So now what I'm trying to do is figure out how that shifted over to goblin kind in the transition.
I'm excited to see the connection.
Yeah, it's very strange. It makes for a very interesting cultural exchange there. So, because the people, the race that is connected with are primarily on the other side of the continent. So it'll be interesting to have it figured out. All right, well, wait a second. How did the goblins go forward and learn this and these pieces? What does this say about goblinhood and this ancient race? So it'll be very interesting.
We've been cannon fodder for an epoch for all races. I'd like to give mine to Ember for her child army. Again, every time you interact with your child army, I am more amazed.
Oh, I have notes I've written down. Give them names.
Fantastic. Yeah, if you move forward and give them names, they're either more or less likely to die, depending upon what they're doing. But it'll definitely be more interesting. No, I'm fucking around with you. So probably not that.
No, you can say that and mean it, because I used to love Battlestar Galactica, and the second that an episode focusing on someone, I was like, God damn it, you're dead. You're dead.
You're gonna die now, aren't you? Oh!
I'm gonna have to give my shout out to Thorn for continuing his transition of being the most absolutely culturally refined barbarian mole person the world has ever seen, and managing to make an in-character conversation about drinking coffee ridiculously funnier than it should have been.
I absolutely loved it. The ridiculous culture that Thorn has put together. It'll be interesting times. I kind of want to see your stats starting to follow through on that. I love the profession chef put in there. I kind of want to, to be able. I might be making knowledge nobility a class skill for you, Thorn, since you're role playing really heavy into that. So I think in your next level, if you decide to take a point in knowledge nobility, I'll make it a class skill for you, which gives you a +3 bonus.
Which to me is fucking bonkers, because he's the farthest thing from nobility.
Oh yeah, he's so far from it, but it's almost the ability to bluff it at this point, where he's like, yes, I have learned these particular set of words, and I have spent time with it. And all the nobility find him so very je ne sais quoi. He has that je ne sais quoi quality to him. He's so ahead of his time.
What it actually comes from is a knowledge of not archaeology, but when you're looking at the characteristics of different races and different behaviors of like birds of prey.
Gotcha. So
So
it's like,
he's not so much checking out like how nobility acts. He's referencing how he sees nature interact with itself, and he's saying like, "Oh, this is just the dance of the TT bird. This is simply birds of paradise. This isn't humanity. This is nature in action."
I like it. I like it a lot. It makes a very interesting character, and I've been very much enjoying how Thorn is put together and how very well spoken he is about things too. It's just really, really great. I love the juxtaposition for the barbarian.
You
Alright.
must learn how something must act if you choose to destroy it.
Ooh, suddenly sinister.
It's not sinister, it's being prepared.
I want
The
to
more
give
you
my
know.
nod to Alatar for just really not wanting to give his fancy rock to the goth kids with the cuffs.
All cops are bastards.
Oh.
Timely.
Did I just get you demonetized?
I'm probably already demonetized. Every time I stream, I just remind myself of all the things that I've said, and now it will permanently be demonetized. Let's be real. Forever and always.
It's on the internet forever now.
It is. Fantastic. Atlatar has it. And then I think we're still waiting on one person to give their nod.
Yeah, I'm going to give my nod to Stakshmi as well, for again the color theory, but also trying to explain the color theory while losing the application to explain his color theory, and then ending up punching himself. Like just getting so frustrated with trying to explain the color theory that he's just like, "Fuck this! I'm done trying to explain culture."
He's trying to get his thoughts out. He only knows how to hit them the same way he would a salt shake, like a salt shaker. This is how he gets his thoughts out into the world. I'm going to make you a picture of Thorn, and it will be drawn the way that a child draws it for the next game. And Snagsme will try to describe to you what it means.
Hey, I mean, Blake, if you make the actual drawing and bring it to the game, that's extra XP. Anytime that people do stuff in the real world and bring it in, that's extra XP for
I'm
player.
going to try to make a whole book on goblin lore, and I'm not going to say it's because my artistic talent is garbage. I'm going to pretend like I'm doing it on purpose. So
perfect. I love it. I love it. If you put together a finger painted goblin lore book for the game, that will tickle me all manner of pink. I love it to death. Worth all the XP. And then I'm going to give my nod over to Tilly for her first interaction with the woman from the Department of Defense, being like, "You're not gonna kill me, are you?" Just
We'll be alone in a dark room.
that I enjoyed quite a bit. So yeah, so things are afoot in the city of Ruby. Let's see here. Oh, I have a question for the players. Would it be helpful to everybody if in your player tab I gave you a basically a note place where you can write down any notes that you want to take about the campaign digitally?
Sure.
That would be
Alatar
nice.
loves notes.
Yeah.
I have many posted notes sitting in front of me right now, and I can't remember which one's for which game.
Gotcha. So if I do FAHL Thorn note, put that in Oz's journal. Save change. All right, and just to make sure that it worked properly, Oz, in your player tab, directly underneath you, there should be one that says Thorns personal notes, and it should be able to be edited by you as well. Oh, looks like he is not on anymore.
No, I'm still here. I see the.
Okay, cool. So
Yep.
I'll put that together for everybody so we can have a place where you can keep your notes locally and we can figure those pieces out and continue on, and we will find out what happened to Schnag Shmee during the next episode. So.
All right, same bat time, same bat channel.
Mm-hmm.
I'll catch you guys later. Stay
And-
safe.